TV7 Israel News is made possible thanks to your generous donations. Shalom and good evening. This is TV7 Israel News, broadcast to you from Jerusalem. And in today's top stories, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu asserts the importance of maintaining close cooperation with the Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan amid rising threats from the east. Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant reveals the dire state of the Islamist Hamas organization in the Gaza Strip. The Islamic Republic of Iran and Iraq sign a string of new strategic security agreements. Tehran manages to enhance its influence over Baghdad. The IDF is determined to enhance its force buildup to bolster Israel's capacity to confront Iran's unyielding determination to dominate the greater Middle East and beyond. Speaking at a Naval Officers Course graduation ceremony, IDF Deputy Chief of General Staff Major General Amir Baram chose to highlight Israel's efforts to bolster its maritime footprint to confront rising threats, including by the Iranian proxy Ansar Allah, which is dominated by the Houthi tribe in Yemen.
The
Mediterranean and Red Seas have strategic importance, and challenges in both theaters have intensified significantly over the course of the year-long war. Maritime terrorism by the Houthis and its economic and strategic ramifications on the entire Middle East, along with the expected expansion of the exclusive economic zone, reiterate the decisive influence which the maritime theaters, both from separate perspectives of threats and the potential contribution which are embedded within it. These lessons demand an update for Israel's defensive and offensive posturing to exploit the seas. The Israeli Navy, which is relatively small, is committed to attain and operate multi-role munitions that will grant it both additional naval power as well as maximum flexibility, while saving our war resources.
While the Houthis constitute a true strategic threat to freedom of navigation, particularly in the Red Sea and adjacent waterways, as well as other aspects related to regional stability and security, the Islamic Republic of Iran is seemingly expanding its influence into additional countries in the Horn of Africa, including Sudan and Somalia. Consequently, General Baram highlighted that Israel must expedite its naval force buildup, which is vital for a long variety of missions.
We realize that to thwart Iran's efforts to assert its imperialistic fanatical domination policy over the region, including in the maritime spheres, we are demanded to further build our naval forces, which have aerial defense capabilities against naval threats, as well as systemic offensive capacities that can concentrate fire on selected targets from the sea. A naval force that will be based upon our new missile boat SA AR-6, the Reshef vessels, which we must begin their construction immediately, as well as the renewed submarine flotilla, may enable rapid movements and operational flexibility to include long-term deployments in near and far theaters.
Returning to Israel, where Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, during a tour of Israel's eastern border, highlighted the importance of continued cooperation with the Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan. Amid prolonged efforts by the Islamic Republic of Iran to destabilize the monarchy in Jordan, along the RGC's sinister activities to exploit Jordanian territory for the purpose of smuggling arms, drugs, and munitions, including into the so-called West Bank of the Jordan River, the Israeli premier stressed the importance of bolstering Israel's coordination with its neighbor, which is vital for the peace and security of both countries.
In this multi-front fight, we also know that we must secure our eastern border with Jordan. This is a border of peace. We are cooperating with the Kingdom of Jordan to make sure it stays that way. But the challenges have grown lately. There is an effort to smuggle terrorists and war material across the Jordan into Judea and Samaria and into Israel's cities. We are working here in cooperation with all elements in order to stop this. I am here with the Deputy Chief of Staff, the head of Central Command, and the Jordan Valley Brigade Commander. We will work here to construct a stronger barrier against smuggling attempts. We are doing so in coordination with our neighbors. It is important to us to ensure that this border remain a border of peace and security.
Turning to central Israel, where Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant visited the IDF Intelligence Directorate's base, where he received an updated intelligence assessment, after which he cleared for publication a document of a recently eliminated Hamas field commander regarding the state of Hamas in the Gaza Strip.
אני רוצה להראות לכם כאן מבסיס המודיעין של צה"ל
I want to show you here, from the IDF's intelligence base, a letter that reflects what senior Hamas officials say about their own situation. This is a letter written by Rafa Salama, who was eliminated by us in July, and which was addressed to the Sinwar brothers. He describes the situation. 70% of the weapons were destroyed, 95% of the rockets were destroyed, 50% of the terrorists were killed or wounded, and a great many escaped. They remain with 20% according to his calculations. This indicates a real crisis that affects Hamas and confronts its most senior commanders. He cries out for the help of the Sinwar brothers, but of course, they can't save him. Why? Because we are continuing the effort that started in October and continues step by step, and reaches all of Hamas' senior officials. He wrote this to the Sinwar brothers, and we will get to them as well.
Meanwhile, in Egypt, an Arab League foreign ministerial was held in the capital Cairo, during the course of which Secretary General of the Multilateral Forum, Ahmed Abul-Gheit, seized the stage to foment anti-Israel rhetoric and libels that are detached from reality.
تقترب هذه الأيام من مرور عام كامل على العدوان الوحشي على الأهل في غزة وفي فلسطين كلها. عام من الإجرام، عام من الإبادة والتطهير العرقي الذي يتبجح ولا يختبئ، يباهي بالجريمة ويفاخر بالعار، غير عابئ بحساب أو عقاب.
Joining the Arab League's foreign ministerial, EU Foreign Policy Chief Josep Borrell seized the opportunity to spout his own anti-Israel rhetoric by placing Israel, an EU ally, and the Islamist Hamas, an EU-designated terrorist organization, in the same light, claiming that all sides to the war in the Middle East are responsible for the failure to reach a hostage release deal in exchange for a temporary ceasefire and other far-reaching Israeli concessions.
The European Union has given full support to the ongoing efforts of Egypt, Qatar, and the US, but the ceasefire agreement prior to the implementation of the Biden plan has still not been signed and doesn't seem likely to be signed in the near future. Why? Quite simply, because those who are waging war have no interest in putting an end to it.
Borrell went on to blatantly rebuke the Israeli government for allegedly aiming to annex the so-called West Bank districts of Judea, Samaria, and the Jordan Valley, while further raising the alarm over alleged Israeli intentions to wreak havoc upon the West Bank, which faces a surge of Iranian-instigated terror similar to the heavily battered Gaza Strip.
Where radical members of the Israeli government, Netanyahu's government, try to make it impossible to create a future Palestinian state. A new front is being opened with a clear objective to turn the West Bank into a new Gaza. In rising violence, delegitimizing the Palestinian Authority, stimulating provocations, to react forcefully and not shying to say to the face of the world that the only way to reach a peaceful settlement is to annex the West Bank and Gaza. Yes, without action of the international community, the West Bank will become a new Gaza.
From Cairo, Borrell traveled to Lebanon, where he met with Beirut's leadership, in addition to a separate visit to the UNIFIL mission, which is mandated with the seemingly failed implementation of UN Security Council Resolution 1701. Turning to Iraq, where Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian visited Baghdad, during the course of which he initially paid his respects at a memorial site for the arch-terrorist and RGC Quds Force commander, Major General Qasem Soleimani. Subsequently, the Iranian president was hosted by the Iraqi Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani, during the course of which both leaders signed a bilateral strategic security agreement.
تحدثنا كثيرا في أهمية
We discussed the importance of stability, a stability threatened by the Zionist aggression on Gaza, which surpassed all legal and moral frameworks, and which stands in front of the inability and failure of the international community to uphold its responsibilities, especially as the genocide of the Palestinian people in Gaza and the occupied territories continues on a daily basis. We have a solid, clear, and common stance on this aggression, and we emphasized on more than one occasion the rejection of the widening of the conflict, standing against the violation of countries' sovereignty, and the importance of stepping up the legal and moral role of the international community.
القانونية والأخلاقية.
We agreed on forming a team of experts from both countries to set long-term strategic plans to establish wider cooperation between both countries and make use of available opportunities. To achieve this aim, we need to fully activate security agreements between both countries to deter terrorists and enemies that target or want to target security and stability in the region.
أو يريدون استهداف الأمن والاستقرار في المنطقة.
Thank you for watching TV7 Israel News. I'd like to take this opportunity to once again thank all of you who've supported TV7 Israel, as our broadcast ministry is exclusively reliant on your generosity. On this note, I would like to also encourage you, if you're blessed by our productions, please consider making a donation. You can do so via our website at www.tv7israelnews.com. Last, but certainly not least, pray for the peace of Jerusalem and redemption of Israel. Jonathan Hassan wishing you an Erev Mevorach. God willing, we'll see you during our upcoming TV7 Israel updates. Until then, Shalom from Jerusalem.